Hey, I'm Bex Allen, and this is a vlog series that I started filming in June 2019. It follows my journey that I went through coming off psychiatric medication for bipolar disorder. There's the ups, the downs, how I did it, and now I'm celebrating being drug-free me. And this is a bid for me to show the world that there is another way. So here I am 3 days after you last saw my face. I am feeling a lot better, as you may be able to tell. I made the reduction that night and it's 3 days later now. So emotionally I'm feeling so much better, 1,000 times better than I was. I am still experiencing sleep disturbance, and I'm pretty sure that that is the quetiapine, the Seroquel that I'm taking and that I'm coming off. She did mention right at the beginning when we were going through my medications, she said that it is one of their red flag meds and that it can take a little bit longer to get off at the other end. So I'm halfway through, and for those of you who don't know what it does to you, what Seroquel does for you is it basically helps you sleep. It's an antipsychotic, but taken at night, it's really helps you sleep. It's really helped me sleep, and I've been taking it for 7 years. So it's not a surprise at all that as I'm coming off it, I have been having slightly disturbed sleep. It's not like if I missed it, because if I, for some reason, was away for a night and didn't have my meds, which very rarely happened because of how uncomfortable it was, if I didn't have it for one night, I basically would be awake for the majority of the night. It was horrendous. So I'm not feeling like that. It's just disturbed sleep. So I'm not having a solid sleep. So I look forward to that happening. I have had some really good solid sleeps when I'm in this phase, you know, the up phase of coming off these meds. So during this up phase, you feel relief would probably be the word that best describes it. Relief from the symptoms that I was experiencing. Relief from the side effects. So if I've had physical side effects, there's relief from them, and you sort of feel like you can just breathe, and oh gosh, that's how it's meant to feel. So you get these pockets of that feeling, and that's really inspiring to keep going. And then you can't, you know, it goes up and then it goes back down again, and on that down is when you get on the phone to them and the support team reminds you that this is how it is, and my husband reminds me, and I've got it written up different places that, you know, this is part of the process, and just reminding myself. So this morning I was thinking about how much gratitude I have for medication and how it's got me to where I am. So while I'm coming off it, and I look forward to being drug-free and whatever that looks like for me, I'm also really grateful for it, because that's what got me through the absolute hardest years of my life. I sort of really fell apart, had your classic breakdown when I was pregnant, the first time I was pregnant with my son, because I basically stopped using all the coping mechanisms that I used, which were all really negative ones, drinking an awful lot of amount of alcohol, smoking. I'd not long left drugs behind, and I just didn't have healthy coping mechanisms, and I'd never ever used healthy ones. You know, from a very young age I had developed unhealthy ones, and it worked for me. Some people say, well, how can you be an addict and be successful? I was a successful addict. I think perhaps having bipolar, and for those of you who do have bipolar, you know that when you are, you know, hypomanic, that's when you get your best work done. And that was what drove me. I was a hairdresser for 17 years, and when I moved back to New Zealand from London, I went and worked somewhere for about, I think it was about 9 months, and I thought, oh no, I don't like doing this, because I'd been managing a salon in London. I was used to being the boss, so I wanted to be the boss. So I set up my own salon, and I didn't second guess myself at all. I did it. I set it up. I got it out. I borrowed the money. And I did not question it. And that I can reflect on those sorts of things, being that really overconfidence that you get from hypomania. And I suppose in my, the lower moments, I would have just used, and that's what got me through. And there was lots of distraction. I distracted myself. So I found myself pregnant and basically couldn't run my business anymore because I had fallen apart. My body was going, what the fuck? What's going on? What have you done? I just took to eating. I gained nearly 35 kilos. I don't know what that is in pounds, but it was a lot of weight. So my self-esteem went diving, and, what my life was and how I knew life changed right from that moment. And so that was when I started, getting into under the umbrella of mental health and getting their help. And that was when I started taking medication to try and help me feel better. Admittedly, it took quite a few years to get me to the point where I was on meds that were helping, which is what I'm coming off now, which was 7 years ago. So it started 11 years ago, and we tried lots of different combinations. And because I was pregnant, then breastfeeding, they told me I needed to stop breastfeeding to start a different medication, and that didn't work. And, there was lots of toing and froing and me going back to drinking, and then we got pregnant again and I stopped it all again. And actually that was the last time I really heavily drank, was, just before I found out that I was pregnant with our daughter, who's now 9. So I spent years trying to battle with that addiction side of things, because I didn't know any other way. But I met this wonderful woman who helped me through talking therapy, and we managed to get to a point of me understanding that, that the reason why I was doing that was because I had no other way of dealing with things. And I slowly learnt skills on, how to deal with things better, rather than just distracting myself from them, which is pretty much what we do with any type of addiction. It's just putting a block up so we don't have to pay attention to it. So yes, admittedly, so it took years to get the meds right, but I would say that that's due to, having a young family and not having it interfere with being pregnant or breastfeeding. But once we got those medications right, I've had 7 solid years of stability from those meds. Now, it's only in recent time that I've started noticing the physical effects that it's had on my body with these issues with my kidneys. But I have a lot of respect for medication. And recently I was watching this guy talking on YouTube. Now, I can't remember his name. I will drop it in here somewhere along when I put this all together. That he was talking about, he's very pro people coming off medication and how they can help, they try to help people and they support people. This guy was in America, and he was saying, I'm not qualified to do this, but I've put together, I think it's some sort of organization that he's run that supports people, because people like me who decide that we want to come off medication, you don't get support. So my doctor doesn't really want to support what I'm doing. So what do? We go and do it on our own. Now, I'm not doing it totally on my own, because I've got this amazing support team at Hardy's, which I didn't even expect I didn't even know existed until I started this journey. And that, I must say, it has been a huge help. A massive help, having some experts on the other end of the phone who understand what's going on. So I suppose, listening to this guy talking, it was really interesting. He was trying to talk about the diversity of how people feel about medication in this room that he was in. And it looked like he had maybe a couple of hundred people in the room. And he was talking about how diverse our opinions can be for medication. Some can have had really bad reactions, and some people know people who have taken medication who have taken their own lives because of their reaction to the medication, whereas there are others who believe that they cannot live without their medication and they love their medication. And I really resonated with how he has this openness and talking about the diversity towards medications, and how we need to have these conversations. So I suppose I wanted to put it out there that while I'm coming off meds, I'm not opposed to them, because I have great respect for them, and they have had a really specific place in my life. I'm just now ready to move on to another stage, which is what you guys are following, obviously. So yes, I'm going to carry on with my day, working from home today. It's absolutely pouring down and windy here in New Zealand today. It's a hunker down and get work done quietly, I think, today. And so 3 days after taking a reduction, I think that the way that things have been going and watching my pattern, it's probably the next few days that I will start noticing my maybe some side effects starting to sneak in again, and we could be on towards another reduction. Yet again, I am just blown away by how quickly this is working, and just so excited and so grateful. Just so grateful for this space. Anyway, thanks for watching. You will see my face again. See ya.